Rumson Fairhaven's Borden Stadium, where tonight, two of the Shore Conference's premier programs battle in a matchup of undefeated teams. A good old-fashioned Shore Conference neighborhood rivalry. News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week tonight from Rumson Fairhaven High School, as the Casey's of Red Bank Catholic take on the Bulldogs of Rumson Fairhaven. And tonight's game is brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. Hello again, everyone. Lou Brogno with you on the call. Alongside is David Resnick. We welcome you to Rumson on a beautiful October evening. Terrific matchup tonight. As we said, two undefeated teams going up against each other. Two old rivals, Red Bank Catholic and Rumson. David, this is a renewal of a great Shore Conference rivalry, the 61st meeting, but the first time that these two teams will have met since 2013.
And what a perfect stage to renew that rivalry. As you mentioned, Lou, there's still a handful of undefeated teams left in the Shore Conference, but the experts believe that tonight's participants are the top two. So let's do it. Number one versus number two on a beautiful Friday night under the lights.
Red Bank Catholic features one of the top quarterbacks in the state of New Jersey. Boston College-bound Steve Lubashir has accounted for over 3,000 yards of total offense the last 2 years.
So we know he's a dual threat. We get that idea. He can beat you with both his arm and his feet. But what makes him so special is that he feels as comfortable throwing in the pocket as he does on the run. So in some ways, he's a triple threat and will be a load for the Bulldogs defense to try and contain.
Of course, the Bulldogs of Rumson have always featured an outstanding ground attack, and this year is no different. A 3-year starter at fullback, Alex Malgin, has been getting the bulk of the carries this season for Rumson, and he's done an outstanding job behind a senior-laden offensive line.
You mentioned it, the 5 men up front, a veteran group that's playing well together and creating holes. You take a look at his output, it's impressive. About every 4.5 carries, he's in the end zone, and so he's been productive this year, leading this Rumson Fairhaven offense. Listen, they might spread you out, they might go 4 wide, but at their heart, Rumson Fairhaven wants to line up with power and run it down your throats.
Well, a lot of electricity in the air here tonight, here at Rumson. The Bulldogs and the Casey's in the 61st meeting. Opening kickoff coming up next on News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Welcome back to News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Red Bank Catholic Rumson, brought to you by Jersey Mike's. Tonight's game brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. Lou Brogno along with David Resnick and the third member of our broadcast team, Amanda Puglisi, who's down on the sidelines. Amanda?
Well, Lou, you mentioned it's a rivalry renewed, and it's been a while since these two teams played 2013, like you and David talked about. But now when you look at the records, you kind of have to throw them out the window, says Coach Eggerly. Of course, Red Bank Catholic has won 11 straight and 20 of the last 23, but he says his team and his guys on the field today, they weren't part of that history, but they are familiar with the history. But he says that this was one of those games, as a former player himself, that everybody came back for. Everyone was always excited for Red Bank Catholic and Rumson Fairhaven. Coach Schulte, of course, echoes that sentiment as well. Lou, back to you.
All right, Amanda, and both teams lined up now for the playing of our national anthem. Nicely done, our national anthem, and you can see the student body is fired up for this one. As Amanda mentioned, this is the 61st meeting. Red Bank Catholic leads the series 33-21, but it's the first meeting since 2013, won by Red Bank Catholic 45-0. In fact, the Casey's have won 11 straight and 20 of the last 23 against the Bulldogs. Last Rumson win came in 2002, more of a baseball score, David, 6-2 in that one. And this series goes all the way back to 1947. That first game played to a 0-0 tie. And for many years, these two teams played on Thanksgiving Day. Now, all of that is great for guys like me and you. But the players, we talked to the coaches earlier this week, and the players don't think too much about that stuff. All they think about is, hey, we're undefeated at 6-0. They're undefeated at 6-0. Big short conference game.
No question, but I think a lot of the people here that's packing this stadium from all angles knows the history, understands what type of big game this is. Quick anecdote before we start. Frank Eggerly, according to Amanda, talked about how he looked forward to this game on Thanksgiving. During that Thanksgiving run from 57 to 2013, they only didn't play 1 year because of weather. That was 1989, Eggerly's senior year. So he never got to play that senior year game in what would have been his final game as a high school athlete, getting the chance now as a head coach in his second stint to face off against the Bulldogs.
RBC kicking off right to left on your screen. Ryan O'Hara hits it to about the 10, and it's taken there by Rumson's John Volker, and he brings it up across the 15-yard line, and the Bulldogs will put it in play there. Rumson in their home purple uniforms, or purple jerseys and helmets, one of the only teams I can think of in New Jersey wearing purple. Of course, New Rochelle up in Rockland County. And Red Bank Catholic in their road gold and green. The quarterback for Rumson is their junior Colin Coles. 49 out of 71, 703 yards and 8 touchdown passes. Took over for the graduated Dan Harvey, who had a big year last year, over 1,100 yards. Handoff to Alex Malgin, and he picks up maybe a yard or so. Talked about Malgin earlier, senior running back, a 3-year starter. And he runs behind a senior-laden offensive line. We'll give you their names from right to left. It's second down and 9 for the Bulldogs. And back to throw is Coles, now being pressured and in trouble, goes down. Big defensive play by Tom Smith, the senior defensive tackle, and he throws Coles for a loss.
Tom Smith bursting through this offensive line, right up the middle, getting his hands on Coles and not letting go. 2.5 sacks this season for Smith as he runs off.
Bulldogs no huddle. It's a delayed handoff to Malgin. He gets outside, turns the corner, but he will be short of first down yardage as he takes it up near the 25-yard line. On the tackle, Jaden Key, the right corner for Red Bank Catholic. So Rumson is 3 and out, and the Casey's figure to get good field position here as Rumson will punt it away. Back deep, MJ Wright for the Casey's, along with Sean Rosbach. And Colin Coles, the quarterback, is the punter and the place kicker for Rumson. Good snap, and it's a booming line drive kick that bounces out of bounds across the 45-yard line. They'll mark it at the 43. Red Bank Catholic starts with good field position. RBC 6-0, an offense that averages over 40 points per game, led by Boston College-bound Steve Lubashir, the senior with some terrific numbers this year. 60 of 81, 1,059 yards, 15 touchdown passes. He's rushed for 3 more, 17 carries, 251 yards. And last year had over 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns. So he has put up some big numbers. Hands it off up the middle, and Billy Gudetti carries the football and takes it up near the 45. Tackle made by Henry Sullivan, senior defensive tackle, one of the leaders on this Rumson defense.
Do the Bulldogs have an answer? Because they need one early defensively. After their offense went 3 and out and kicked it away, do they have the ability to match the Casey's defense on this opening drive?
Second down play, Lubashir in trouble, gets away from pressure, now hits the corner and dives across midfield into Rumson territory.
He juked Christian Lanzalato out of his boots. A 3-year starter at inside linebacker. Watch this move in the open field. In the end, Lubashir was the only player that took him down.
Lubashir, a very dangerous quarterback, dual threat, throwing the football and running. Runs behind an offensive line led by the center, Tom Smith, a senior, a 3-year starter at the center position. I formation for the Caseys on a 3rd and 1. Handoff Gudetti, and he kind of picks his way and finds just enough of a seam to pick up the first down. Billy Gudetti, a junior, 78 carries, 651 yards coming into the game. He replaced a terrific running back, one of the best in the short conference a year ago, Zach Bova, who had 15 touchdowns rushing.
Already 5 100-yard games for the featured back for the Caseys. Nice job of the right side of that offensive line to give Billy enough room to squeeze by for the first down.
1st and 10, throw over the middle, catch is made across the 40-yard line, and Lubashir put it right on the numbers. MJ Wright on the reception.
More receptions than any player for Red Bank Catholic, sitting in between what is called a 4-3 defense, but aligns more like a 4-2-5. And so if you could find those seams in between that linebacker level, right before the secondary level, Wright should have a lot of opportunities to sit in that zone along with Kevin Bauman, the tight end.
2nd down 2 at the 38-yard line. High snap, but Lubashir able to corral it, but he gives to Gudetti, who gets crushed behind the line of scrimmage. That high snap kind of disrupted the entire play. And Henry Sullivan in on the tackle once again for the Bulldogs.
Second team All-Shore a season ago as a junior. 3-year starter and key cog, especially against the run. Such a physical force in the middle of that defensive line for Rumson Fairhaven. And again, this defense is faced with a 3rd down. Casey's converted on the last series with Gudetti on 3rd and short. Now it's a little bit longer here with 3rd and 4 to go.
Just under 7 minutes remaining. First quarter, no score. Red Bank Catholic, their initial drive. Here's Lubashir, he's in trouble, being chased out of the pocket on the run, fires, and let's see, was the catch made? Yes, the catch made to the 30-yard line by Jaden Key, who somehow got 1 foot in bounds.
That's not a throw, that's a cannon. And one of the things we said from the very beginning, Lubashir great in the pocket. He's also great on the run. He throws a rope to the sideline and toe-touching with that right foot. Jaden Key hauls it in for the 3rd down conversion.
That's about as fine of a reception you'll see on the high school level. Jaden Key getting 1 foot in. Acrobatic reception. 1st and 10, Red Bank Catholic from the 30, and trying to cut outside is Gudetti. And he's brought down after a pickup of about 4 or so.
Casey's go power, adding a tight end to both sides of the line. So 7 across the offensive line. And you don't see it a lot, Lou. A quarterback under center. A feature back that has 7 men in front creating holes. And if you're able to establish that power running game, that will really open up Lubashir in the play action game.
Trip receivers wide out to the right. And the man in motion gets the handoff. That's MJ Wright. And he takes it inside the 25. Good job by Rumson to string the play out that time. Ryan Ruane over there on the play. Ruane, a sophomore. Older brother played here at Rumson, now playing up at UMass.
Yeah, Mike was a terrific linebacker for Rumson Fairhaven. One of those program-type players entering his upperclassman years as one of the best returning defensive players in the Shore, and part of a couple of championship teams in Central Jersey for Rumson Fairhaven.
So another third down play, 3rd down and 1.
Casey's already 2 for 2.
And they come up in the eye. Here's the give. Gudetti cuts, and I'm not sure he got there. Brought down at the line of scrimmage. Nice play by Drew Frankel, the junior corner.
Great pursuit to the ball. A lot of purple hats and purple jerseys racing to Gudetti. Frankel setting the edge from his run-stopping spot at cornerback. And the Bulldogs doing a nice job containing that 3rd down run.
And the Casey's lost a yard on the play. They'll go for it, though. 4th down and 2. So Frank Edgerly with his first big call of the game here, going on 4th and 2. Full house backfield for the Casey's. And here's Lubasher looking to throw, rolling out, fires, catch made inside the 15-yard line. Beautiful throw by Lubasher, and Charlie Gordonier, the backup tight end, with a beautiful reception.
Interesting call right off the bat for the Casey's, because their place kicker, Ryan O'Hara, has 44-yard range, and that would have been inside of it. They line up looking at power, but it's a power pass as the play action to the backup tight end moves the sticks for the Casey's for the 3rd time on their opening drive that started back at their own 43.
Again, full house backfield, and Gudetti weaves his way inside the 10-yard line.
Just the 4th reception on the season for Gordonier, and playing behind the talented junior Kevin Bauman, a tight end bound for Notre Dame. You understand why Charlie's opportunities might be a bit limited, but to see a guy at 6'5", 225 show those type of hands and be ready when called upon is a big nod to Gordonier.
2nd down at about 7. Pick up a 3 on that last play. Twin receivers split out left side for the Casey's. And here's Lubasher. He's going end zone. Has a man. Touchdown. Red Bank Catholic. MJ Wright on the reception. And another gorgeous throw by Steve Lubasher.
From the right hash mark, using the wide side of the field and basically clearing it out for MJ Wright to run under a perfectly lofted pass. We'll take another look at it in a moment, but just a great play call and perfect execution by a pair of seniors.
Ryan O'Hara, the senior place kicker, in for Red Bank Catholic. Kick is up, and it is good. So O'Hara drills it through. And Red Bank Catholic takes the early lead. They're up 7-0.
Lubasher perfect on this drive. Over the top of the sophomore Ryan Ruane. He was locked in with Wright the entire time. All the other routes to the other side of the end zone, one-on-one. That matchup is going to go to Wright. But the reason why MJ made it look so easy is that Lubasher put the perfect touch on the ball in the fade to the corner. Terrific execution by the Boston College-bound senior on a drive that took up more than 6 minutes. They converted on 3rd down twice, a completion on 4th down to move the chains inside the red zone. A great opening drive for the Casey's to make a statement on the road here at Rumson.
We mentioned this Red Bank Catholic team averaging over 40 points per game. They started this season by blasting rival St. John Vianney 41-14, and they have kept their foot on the gas ever since.
It's interesting, that was week 0, and that ended the Lancers' 38-game Shore winning streak. And what's interesting enough, then in week 1, St. John Vianney was here at Rumson Fairhaven and got shellacked 43-6. So after the first 2 weeks of the season, this matchup was definitely anticipated, both undefeated, into tonight's action.
O'Hara's kick sails inside the 5-yard line, and Volker brings it up across the 20. Rumson will put it in play there. So the Bulldogs trailing 7-0 with 3:44 remaining here in this first quarter. Rumson coming in 6-0. Last week defeated Lakewood big 47-7. They also have a big win against St. John Vianney this year, 43-6, and an impressive victory over Brick Township, 13-0. So they've had some big wins.
Both teams already have locked up their respective division titles in the Shore Conference.
1st and 10, and a handoff, not much there. It's Alex Malgin who carried the football, but not much going up against that tough Red Bank Catholic defense. Red Bank Catholic D led by their active linebackers, specifically middle linebacker John Columbia, the senior, with 91 tackles and 5 sacks. And spinning and twisting is Malgin, and he takes it up near the 25. Kevin Bauman in on the tackle there. Talked about Columbia in the middle of that defense, David, and his head coach, Frank Edgerly, says he's the Tasmanian devil. Just whirling, whirling dervish all over the field.
So we should not get in his path. That's what you're telling me.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'll stay up here then.
Maybe not so much us, but Rumson certainly. It's a long throw downfield, incomplete. And Coles incomplete as he launched that one on 3rd down. But again, Rumson goes 3 and out.
A whirling, what did you say a moment ago?
Dervish. I don't even know what that means.
Could he use that in a sentence? Language of origin? There's an English teacher out there somewhere admonishing us for not knowing.
Coles is in to punt it away. Red Bank Catholic will have the football, good field position after this exchange. It's a low snap. Coles goes down to get it. High kick. That is called for a fair catch. Henry J. Wright makes that fair catch at the 42. Looked like Wright called for a fair catch and then started running a little bit, but no flag thrown.
So offensively, Rumson Fairhaven has run 6 offensive plays. They've punted twice, and they have not got past the 25-yard line in their own end. Conversely, Red Bank Catholic getting the ball back for the second time after a 6-minute and 20-second drive in which they scored a touchdown by converting twice on 3rd down. And when they didn't convert on 3rd down, they did so on 4th. A methodical drive in which Lubashir had help from Guidetti running the ball, and then he distributed it well through the air.
Lubashir fires, caught. Jaden Key is hit by 3 Rumson defenders. It's still upright, but his forward progress will take him to the 50-yard line. Another good throw by Lubashir.
My memory fails me at times, and quite frequently, but I don't think the ball has hit the turf yet out of the arm of Lubashir, and I'm not even sure that there's been a negative play yet. And that's what's been so impressive so far by Red Bank Catholic. They're ahead of the chains on each of these series, picking up 3, 4, 5 yards through the air or on the ground to really set up their playbook. We've seen a number of different formations and a number of different ways in which the Casey's playmakers have already gotten involved.
Red Bank Catholic's playbook is extensive. They do a lot of different looks, a lot of different sets. That's incomplete, intended for Guidetti. Pass was a little behind him.
Swing pass was there. Guidetti definitely had space in the flat, but the first incompletion today for Red Bank Catholic. Facing a 3rd and medium, an opportunity, Lou, where really the entire playbook is still available to you.
Brings up a 3rd and about 4. Football sits right at the midfield stripe. A minute 36 remaining in the first. It's the first quarter controlled by Red Bank Catholic. I formation for the Casey's. And play action. Lubisher in trouble. And he's going to go down. A big play. Gordon Forsythe crashing in there for the Bulldogs. And for Forsythe, his 4th sack of the year. And you've got a player down.
A lot of attention to Henry Sullivan at defensive tackle, and for good reason. But Gordon Forsythe, after bringing down Lubisher for the sack, clutching his knee, but a strong force at defensive end, as Lou mentioned, his 4th sack of the season. A lot of good bodies in the trenches, which makes for a terrific matchup on both lines of scrimmage.
So they attend to Forsythe. Hopefully it's nothing serious. And you saw him immediately grab that knee. And there's a look at the sold-out crowd here at Rumson on both sides. That's not a good sign right there, as Forsythe needs help to get off the field. And we wish him the best, the junior defensive end who made an outstanding play. They will check him out on the sideline. Fourth down, and the Casey's will punt it away. O'Hara in to kick it, and his head coach Frank Edgerly says he's a directional kicker when it comes to punting. And he lofts an end-over-end kick that bounces across the 30 and still rolls, takes a good RBC roll down to the 21. And Rumson will put it in play there. Inside a minute remaining here in this first quarter. Well, a reminder, we're on Facebook Live tonight, and we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on the game and Shore Conference football. And Amanda might even read some of them later on air. So send us your thoughts on the game via Facebook Live. 1st and 10. Bulldogs at their own 21. And the handoff goes off tackle. Nothing doing. No chance for Maldajan as Gino Tartamella got in there. And also Tom Smith. It has been tough sledding for Rumson on the ground here against this veteran Red Bank Catholic line. 2nd and 10. Coles hands it off again. Maljadan trying to get outside, bounces outside. Good pursuit by Red Bank Catholic, and they just smother the Rumson ball carrier. Kevin Degnan coming in on the play. Steve Shimilewski as well, outside linebacker. Loss of yardage on the play, 3rd and 12, and that's the last play of this first quarter. A first quarter dominated by Red Bank Catholic. All RBC in the first quarter. The Casey's up by 7. Steve Lubisher launching a touchdown pass. They lead it 7-0. News 12 Varsity's game of the week. Welcome back to News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week, brought to you tonight by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. Let's check in with Amanda.
Well, just before, Lou, that first quarter ended, we saw number 40, Forsythe, come off for Rumson Fairhaven. He wasn't even able to put pressure on his right leg. Right now, they currently have him iced, and his return is questionable.
And Rumson goes to the air on the first play of the second quarter. Colin Coles to Jackson McCarthy. The big wide receiver, his 9th catch of the year, and he's quite a story, McCarthy.
Over 100 or 200 yards rather on the season receiving as he steps in front of MJ Wright to make the reception. The way that Red Bank Catholic is lining up defensively, they are forcing Colin Coles, or at least trying to lure him into throw. And I think part of the adjustment offensively for the Bulldogs in the second quarter is allowing their junior quarterback to air it out.
David, getting back to Jackson McCarthy. Here's a kid who's an outstanding basketball player on a very talented Rumson basketball team. And McCarthy, playing football for the first time this year, decided to come out for the football team after being an outstanding star player on the hoops team. And another throw that time by Colin Coles, complete to Patrick Jamin, the sophomore. And there's a look at McCarthy. He's got good size. A nice addition to this offense. Third down and about 5. Coles looking to throw. Now he's in trouble and he goes down. No chance as Gino Tartamella comes in and gets the sack.
Coles going through his read there and just holding it a bit too long as Tartamella, the senior, coming in for the sack. You mentioned McCarthy wanting to get that football experience, and for good reason. Think about the atmosphere tonight, the big game stage. 2 undefeated programs playing in front of friends and family, cheerleaders and bands. Even some TV guys are here tonight. What a great atmosphere it is.
Coles kicks it away. It's a short kick in traffic. And the fair catch is made by Gordonier. So Red Bank Catholic has great field position to begin this drive, just shy of their own 45-yard line.
And the field position has been tremendous for Frank Eggerly's team. Now in his 13th season, 3rd year back. Had an earlier stint of 10 years and then went on to pursue a career at both the collegiate and NFL levels. Most recently, an assistant wide receivers coach with the Cleveland Browns of the NFL. You mentioned the field position starting at the 43, 44, and now 45. Casey's have 1 touchdown to their name so far.
Lou Bashir looking to throw, play action, and it's incomplete. He air-mailed that one, trying to go over the top. And there's a look at Forsyth, who's up on the sideline, which is great news. And he is walking around on that knee. So he's got ice on it, but I think that's a great sign for the Bulldogs.
Big loss for Rumson Fairhaven, but there are different players that will rotate in. Kenny Rainey will move in at defensive end for the Bulldogs as part of that rotation for Jerry Schulte, also in his 3rd year as a head coach for the Bulldogs.
His 18th overall, was a coach at Mater Dei and Wall Township prior to coming to Rumson. And here's a handoff. Off tackle, short pickup. Getting back to Schulte quickly, David. He was a coach at Mater Dei and Wall Township, also an offensive line coach and the defensive coordinator here at Rumson. And it's funny, he had one of the great quotes of the year. I guess one of the reporters in New Jersey asked him, what about your sudden success at Rumson? He said, yeah, it took me 36 years to become an overnight sensation.
Yeah, he's the same guy he always has been. 44 years coaching. Just a football's coach, looking quite dapper, I think, tonight in that purple blazer that he's sporting on the sideline.
Yeah, it's a 3rd down play. Rumson showing blitz, and they pick it up. Lubashir fires over the middle, and a beautiful catch by M.J. Wright. Good throw by Lubashir. But I think the most impressive part of the play is the offensive line picking up the blitz.
No question, and also Lubashir standing in to make a play to a leaping M.J. Wright. Catching it right in front of Mike Lazat. And we've seen the number of different weapons that the Caseys have at the receiver position, whether it be Wright or Key, tight ends Bauman and Gordonier. A lot of different options for Lubashir today as he's been slinging it all around the field. He's thrown touchdowns to 7 different receivers this year.
1st and 10, Caseys, and the handoff this time goes to Guidetti, and that play a little messed up on the handoff, and it destroyed the timing of the play as Guidetti had to try to find the handle. He's smiling about it now, and he loses a yard on the play.
Kenny Rainey was there, as we mentioned, in as a backup to Gordon Forsythe at defensive end, who naturally rotates in, so he's a player used to seeing a significant amount of time. Vernon still out there at defensive end with Aflito and Sullivan in the middle of the defensive line. There's big number 7, Henry Sullivan, a key cog against the run, major contributor the last couple years as an upperclassman. He just towers over the center from his defensive tackle spot.
Second down, 11. Twin receivers go to the right side for the Casey's. They have a 7-0 lead here in the second quarter. And a throw over the middle, incomplete, intended for M.J. Wright. And again, Wright had to go way up the ladder as Lou Bashir let him a little bit too high. And Lou Bashir comes over to talk to Frank Edgerly. David touched on Edgerly a little bit before, as he was an assistant wide receiver coach with the Cleveland Browns. He also was a scout prior to that with the Browns and the Patriots. Worked very closely with Bill Belichick.
Two ends of the spectrum on that one, right?
I don't know. The Browns are coming on this year. Let's check in with Amanda.
Come on, guys. You know, if you're going to talk the Cleveland Browns, I have to hop in on that one. But as you talk about Coach Eggerly, he certainly brings that NFL experiences with him. He says what he learned from coaches like Coach Belichick, you know, he learns how the organization of practices and meetings, how they approach games, the mindset, all of that stuff, he says he brought it from the NFL, and it's the same for RBC.
Yeah, Coach Edgerly in our conference call earlier this week talking about that experience in the NFL with Bill Belichick. And, you know, I asked him, I said, you know, what do you take out of that that whole experience? He goes, well, obviously it's a little different in the NFL, but, you know, he was able to bring and incorporate some of those things here. You take a look at the Red Bank Catholic schedule. A lot of points for the Casey's, starting with that game against St. John Vianney, and they just have kept piling it on. They'll have one more game next week against Middletown North to round out the regular season, and then it is on to the playoffs.
For both these teams, really, Lou, it's not just the record, it's how dominant they've been in accumulating wins, and so it is a legit 6-0. These teams haven't been squeezing by their opponents. They've been very impressive leading up to this Week 7 showdown.
3rd and 11. Lou Bashir looking to throw. He fires, and it's caught. Jaden Key, and then he takes a shot out of bounds. But the catch is made, and that's good for a Red Bank Catholic first down.
Bulldogs are trying to be physical all over the field, but look at this finesse. On 3rd and long out of the timeout, pinpoint accuracy. 3 defenders in the vicinity. Jaden Key catches it. And Lou Bashir, it's more than just the athleticism. It's the touch, it's the finesse, it's putting the ball in a spot that only his receiver can catch the ball, and trusting his receiver to throw it before Key was out of his break.
1st and 10, and the handoff. This is Guidetti dancing his way down inside the 20-yard line. And he picks up a couple. It'll bring up a 2nd down for the Casey's. 7 minutes remaining in the second quarter. And Red Bank Catholic has a 7-0 lead. They have dominated this first half. And trying to cap off another good drive here.
Rumson Fairhaven only has 1 first down on offense. Red Bank Catholic already with 1 6+ minute drive. They've had the ball here for nearly 3.5 minutes as they continue to drive right in the red zone.
On a 2nd down play, Lou Bashir is going for the end zone. It is incomplete. Intended for Jaden Key. Pretty good coverage down there, offered by Ryan Dupree.
Brooks Brennan in the area as well. But Lou Bashir again giving his playmaker a chance, and it would have taken a huge effort as it was an over-the-shoulder attempt. But again, out of the reach of Brennan, who was in there covering for the Bulldogs, and only the Casey's would have had the opportunity to come up with that ball. It was a wonderfully thrown ball, just a hair too far into the corner.
Now let's give credit where credit is due. It was Brooks Brennan on that coverage. Terrific defensive play. He was right there with Jaden Key. It is a second down play, third down play rather. There's the throw. It is caught. What a throw by Lubashir. MJ Wright on the reception, but that was a dart by the Red Bank Catholic quarterback.
You think these receivers are having fun? Stepping up, throwing over the middle. It's well defended. The defender is on Wright's hip. But when you have an elite thrower like Lubashir has proved himself to be over the past couple of years, a Boston College-bound quarterback, I mean, he just looks so comfortable standing tall in the pocket. And credit the offensive line for giving him time as well as the Casey's vie for another score.
First and goal at the 8, and Lubashir keeps it himself and spins inside the 10, and it looks like a penalty flag might have been thrown at the tail end of that play. Let's see. And there is a flag down. And
it's a face mask against Rumson Fairhaven.
Well, that's going to add to the end of the play. As you see Jerry Schulte looking on, not crazy about that penalty.
That was the aforementioned purple blazer, by the way.
Which is very impressive, by the way. And Jerry has a purple tie on tonight as well. Red Bank Catholic banging on the door. It's first and goal for the Casey's. Inside the 5. And Lubashir again keeps it and dives towards the end zone in. Touchdown, but there's a flag down. Flag in the backfield, holding against Red Bank Catholic.
So after a game that I don't think had a single penalty flag for a quarter and a half, we have a marker on back-to-back plays. You can see right up the middle there, easy call as Chris Hart, even down to the ground, had Von Factor wrapped up just underneath the helmet. And so it was right in the middle of the play, pretty blatantly obvious, and a rather easy flag to throw.
And that pushes the ball all the way back to the 15-yard line. So it will still remain first and goal, but now from the 15 for the Casey's.
Jerry Schulte, the head coach of Rumson Fairhaven, was a longtime defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs, has maintained that title, picking up things from Penn State, Miami, and Virginia Tech.
Look at this formation by Red Bank Catholic.
Very Jim Harbaugh-like.
That is a capital I formation. Here's Lubashir, fires outside, catch made, and very little yardage gain. Gordonier on the catch. A very nice play by Mike Lizotte. Mike Lizotte, the senior free safety.
A lot of nice eye candy on that play formationally for Red Bank Catholic. When you do that, you don't allow a shifting defense to perhaps get into their right spots. And it at least creates a moment of confusion and deception. It's a short gain. And just to complete the idea of the Penn State, Miami, Virginia Tech idea is that this 4-3 defense has principles from those programs from long ago, as Jerry Schulte has really run the same offense over 4 decades.
Lubashir going end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Caught by Rossback on the reception. So a big play by Lubashir as Sean Rossback, the junior wide receiver, got behind the defender and makes the catch for the TD. Ryan O'Hara to kick the extra point. And the snap is good. Kick is on the way, and it is good. 4:17 remaining, second quarter. Red Bank Catholic now up by 2 scores. The Casey's lead it 14-0.
Well, we mentioned that Lubashir has thrown touchdown receptions to 7 different players this season. Pump fake, and over the top of the defense, right into the waiting arms of Sean Rosbach. The touch. Rosbach on the receiving end makes it look really easy. That's because his quarterback did all the heavy lifting, getting it to that perfect spot.
The Casey's fooled me a little bit. It's a very muted celebration after the touchdown. So I had to pause for a second to make sure that it was caught. Well, Jerry Schulte's team is down 14-0, and they've got some work to do here against this talented Red Bank Catholic team.
Another time-consuming touchdown drive for Red Bank Catholic. 5 minutes and 45 seconds they kept the football on their last touchdown drive.
High end-over-end kick inside the 5-yard line, and a good return for Rumson up across the 20. And tonight's game is brought to you by Jersey Mike's Subs. Be a sub above. And also tonight we're on Facebook Live, and we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on the game and short conference football. And Amanda might even read some of them later on the air. So send us your thoughts on the game via Facebook Live. Rumson down by 2 touchdowns, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Football at the 23-yard line. And looking to throw is Coles, and he fires outside, incomplete. Really had no chance on the play. 2 Red Bank Catholic rushers were in on him. Jake Loro, the sophomore defensive tackle, and Gino Tartamella, the left side of that defensive line. So it brings up a 2nd and 10. Twin receivers go left side for the Bulldogs. And whistles blow the play dead. Looked like there might have been some movement early by the Rumson offensive line. Let's see.
Rumson Fairhaven clearly was looking to establish the run with Alex Malgian. They have been a bit hesitant to allow Colin Coles to air it out. But now you're trailing by 2 touchdowns. Red Bank Catholic gets the ball to start the second half. Do you still have confidence in the run game to look to continue to establish it?
Swing pass out to Malgian, and that's an effective play. Gets Malgian the ball in the open field, and he gets up across the 25 and picks up some good yardage on the play.
That is a great call, because a short pass at times, especially to your running back, works as a run. Great blockers up in front across the 20, getting that yardage back that they surrendered on that false start. They've had trouble running between the tackles, so what can they do to get on the edge and get out in space?
So it brings up a 3rd and 6 with twin receivers to the right side for the Bulldogs.
Just 1 first down today for the Bulldogs offense.
And they swing it outside, catch made, and that's going to be short of the first down. On the catch for Rumson, Peter Crowley. Backup running back. But he's well short of the marker, and the Bulldogs will punt it away. And now Red Bank Catholic has some time here with 3:06 remaining in the second quarter.
4 possessions, 3 3-and-outs for Rumson Fairhaven against this Red Bank Catholic defense that returned 8 starters this season. They have not allowed more than 14 points in any game through the first 6 weeks.
Red Bank Catholic 8-2 last year. 8 starters on both sides of the ball for the Casey's. So Red Bank Catholic will have great field position. They'll start on the Rumson Fairhaven side of the field at the 45-yard line. Football right at the 45.
Average starting field position for Red Bank Catholic is just about midfield as they begin their 4th drive. Conversely, Rumson Fairhaven, they haven't really gotten past the 30-yard line of their own end. So really a tale of two teams in terms of productivity. Casey's really taking advantage of a short field. The score is only 14-0, but the time of possession has heavily favored the visiting team so far today.
First down play. Here is Lubashir, takes off, makes a nice move, and takes it across the 35-yard line. Beautiful open field move by the Casey's quarterback.
You know, Lou, you asked Jerry Schulte, the head coach of Rumson Fairhaven, what's your plan for the quarterback? And he did just that. He started laughing. And his first words were, he's a problem. Well, he already has a couple of touchdown tosses so far today, and there's a great example of what makes him so difficult on the last play. Standing tall in the pocket, allowing the play to develop, stepping up into the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield. When nothing develops, he takes off and scoots for 11 on a scramble.
First down play, and Lubashir again takes off, and again he's got big yardage, and he knows right where that stick is, and he's close to a first down. Let's see if he actually got enough. He might be about a buck short.
So he wants to stay in the pocket. He wants to keep his eyes downfield. This play was breaking down and the pocket was collapsing, so he had to step out a bit quicker than he wanted to as Isaac Vernon and company was bearing down. So you're looking for a home run, you don't get it, and you still get 8. And now we know why Jerry Schulte, when we asked him the plan, just started to chuckle and acknowledge the type of athlete and player that Steve Lubashir is.
He stepped out at the 26-yard line, so it's second down and 2, and a big hole and cutting outside, picking up first down yardage is Gudetti, and he's inside the 15.
And Gudetti hasn't really broken out yet in this first half. He's been a contributor, but you'd be hard-pressed to think of a big run prior to this scamper that really made a dent against this Bulldog defense. In 6 weeks, Billy Gudetti has 5 100-yard rushing games. He stepped in late last season as a sophomore when the starting running back got injured. He's an experienced and productive player in the backfield for Red Bank Catholic.
First and 10, and the handoff to Gudetti. He picks up a couple as he dives over left tackle. We are in the second quarter, 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining here until halftime. And Red Bank Catholic on another drive here. They already lead it 14-0. RBC trying to go 7-0. Kenny Rainey, defensive end for Rumson. This Rumson defense has been on the field a lot here in this first half. Second down and 9.
You do wonder at one point, or at some point with 3 timeouts left, do the Bulldogs just call time to regroup because of, as you said, the amount of time they've spent on the field?
Trip receivers go to the left side. And Lubashir looking to throw. Now he takes off almost like a quarterback draw. He hits the corner, gets a block on the corner, and there's a couple of penalty flags down. So this one might be coming back. And it is a block in the back called on the Casey's.
The way that play unfolded, And you see it's the point of the infraction, so it comes back 10 yards from 9 yards down the field. Lubashir is fine. He's in the open field. He has running room. They're ahead of schedule. It's one of those penalties that happens, in this case, to the side or a little bit in front of the play that was a bit unnecessary and probably didn't affect the play all that much, especially when you consider what Lubashir was capable of doing on his own without the help.
Ball pushed back to the 15, 2nd and 12, and Lubashir taking off again, gets outside, puts on a good move, and then is brought down. Good pursuit by Rumson, Drew Frankel, and also Keegan Woods. Outstanding linebacker, a 3-year starter, first-team All-Shore performer. Last year had 155 tackles. He's got 79 this year and 3 sacks.
Leading the team in that category. They only played 6 games, so that is a tackling machine. Casey's need a little urgency here. 3rd down, so maybe just a couple of plays left, so urgency not as needed as I initially thought, with a field goal kicker in Ryan O'Hara, who's hit from 44 this year.
Throwback, and down the sideline, that'll be short of the 1st down. And again, good pursuit as they tossed it over to their tight end, Kevin Bauman. So with 5 seconds, let's see, Red Bank Catholic will call a timeout. They do. With less than a second left. And they'll most likely, well, let's see what Frank Edgerly decides to do. You would think they would line up for a field goal here, but with a 14-0 lead, they may try to go to the end zone. We'll see.
Well, ball spotted at the 10, so a 27-yard attempt potentially upcoming for Ryan O'Hara. As mentioned, his hit from 44. It would just be 7 yards beyond an extra point, so plenty of leg there. Do you go for the over-the-top jugular, which seems a bit unnecessary given time and score and how complete of a performance it's been so far for the Caseys? Do you just look to make it a 3-score game? Especially knowing that you get the ball to start the second half, and there is Ryan O'Hara, 19 in the white, attempting to tack on 3 more.
O'Hara, a one-time soccer player, also a snowboarder, says Frank Edgerly. So quite an athlete. And a terrific kicker. He's 1 for 2 this year, 44 yards is long. And the kick is blocked by Rumson and picked up by the Bulldogs. So Frankel gets in, Drew Frankel to block the kick. And let's see if that gives the Bulldogs a little extra oomph heading into the locker room. Big play by the Rumson special teams.
Rumson Fairhaven needed any type of spark, and Frankel full extension, untouched coming off of the edge. Bulldogs with some energy, some positive thoughts entering the locker room as the junior Drew Frankel provides a terrific play on special teams.
So Drew Frankel ignites the Rumson Bulldogs as they head into the locker room. Our score at halftime in this Big Short Conference battle, Red Bank Catholic up by 2 scores. The Caseys lead it 14-0 on News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Welcome back to News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week here at Rumson Fairhaven High School. Red Bank Catholic leading by the score of 14-0. And tonight's game is brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And just a reminder also that we're on Facebook Live tonight, and we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on the game and short conference football. And Amanda might even read some of those later on in the second half. And speaking of Amanda, she's down on the sidelines, and I know she has a very interesting story about a player playing American football by way of Scotland.
That's right, Lou. And David Ojabo, he was originally living in Scotland, but when he was a sophomore, he transferred to Blair Academy here in New Jersey, and he thought he was going to find a home maybe on the soccer team or on the basketball court. But really, it was football, thanks to his size, where he found a home. And Jason Kahn of News 12 New Jersey has a little bit more on that story.
David Ojabo never planned on playing football coming over from Scotland, but considering his size, it was worth giving it a try. What did you know about it?
Just like off social media, just seeing some like cool tackles and stuff.
He raised his hand and goes, "Coach, what's a hash mark?"
Ojabo admits he's still learning. He's played only one full high school season last year as a junior, but at 6'5", 250 pounds, dozens of colleges extended offers to the defensive end.
When you're as athletic as him, you catch on pretty quick.
Athletes are common at Blair Academy, where kids are required to participate in extracurricular activities. This 170-year-old private boarding and day school has less than 500 students. It sits on 463 acres in Blairstown. Ojabo came here as a sophomore, believing this was the place that would lift him to stardom, although he thought in soccer or basketball.
I knew I was athletic enough to do something special, just didn't know what.
And while Ojabo says he still has a lot to learn on the football field, it's that word potential that has him excited about the future.
When they say stuff like that, it just pushes me even more.
It pushes him to get to the NFL. But what's next for Ojabo is stepping on the field at Michigan, which he's visited with his parents already. They are back in Scotland, a country that he beams about.
I feel like I'll be a great representation of the country and make them proud. Even if they don't know what the sport is, I feel like I'll make them proud.
Hoping to someday teach them about a sport he once barely knew. Jason Kahn, News 12, New Jersey.
Blair Academy, of course, is no stranger to successful football players. It's also the home of Tennessee Titans running back Dion Lewis, who, by the way, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. Well, don't go anywhere because we have a lot more football action coming up. Of course, Red Bank Catholic leading Rumson Fairhaven 14-0 at halftime.
Back at Rumson Fairhaven, where the Bulldogs trail Red Bank Catholic 14-0 at the half, and big halftime activities taking place tonight, as it is senior night here at Rumson, as they honor the seniors on the football team, the cheerleading squad, the dance team, and the band here tonight.
Don't forget the band.
We never do, and they have a great band here at Rumson. And a reminder, tonight's game is brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And also tonight, we're on Facebook Live, and we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on the game and Shore Conference football in general. Amanda might even read some of them a little bit later on in the second half. In the first half, it was a Red Bank Catholic highlight reel as the Caseys got off to a great start, and it started with this big fourth down conversion, David.
It did, over the middle. It was complete, and a great grab by the backup tight end Charlie Gordonier, and it set up this 10-yard touchdown in the corner for MJ Wright. 7-0 Caseys. They were great on third down. This completion on the sideline to Jaden Key sets up a touchdown over the top to Sean Rossback, casually catching it in the back of the end zone. A good play here to end the first half for Rumson Fairhaven. Drew Frankel comes in to knock the potential field goal away. The first half was also defined by Red Bank Catholic first half defense as they've pitched the shutout. The way they've relentlessly pursued Alex Malgian has been impressive. Colin Coles has been under pressure the entire way. Red Bank Catholic allowed Rumson Fairhaven just one first down on 4 first-half drives. The Bulldogs went 3 and out and punted it away 3 times.
RBC's defense, as you saw on those plays, sideline to sideline, great pursuit in that first half. Well, let's take a look at the standings here in the Shore Conference in the Freedom Division. Red Bank Catholic, undefeated in the league, undefeated overall. They've already wrapped up the division title, followed by Red Bank, Long Branch, Ocean Township, and Toms River East and South. But as we said, RBC captures the Freedom Division title.
And the Shore Conference this year went to a different division look, went to a different scheduling look to try to get more parity and more competitive balance. And that's a big reason why this longtime rivalry that used to play on Thanksgiving was reborn this year, because Rumson Fairhaven and Red Bank Catholic projected out to be two of the best teams in the Shore this year. And it's played out that way through 6 weeks as both are undefeated. And a note, Lou, on the Red Bank Catholic offense, just to complete that story, their season of dominance and the way they played so far in the first half, both touchdown drives of at least 5 minutes and 45 seconds. So not only the control of the scoreboard at 14-0, but time of possession as well.
Well, you know, we mentioned Red Bank Catholic winning their division title, and Rumson also in the Colonial Division, capturing the championship there. So the Bulldogs winning that title. And Rumson, if this score holds up, would lose their first game of the season, but they still have much to look forward to. Of course, they'll be in the playoffs, and they would like another shot, I'm sure, at Somerville in the Central Jersey Group 3 playoffs. There's a look at those Colonial Division standings, and Rumson at 5-0 in the league, followed by Brick Township, Freehold Borough, Memorial, St. John Vianney, a very uncharacteristic season for the Lancers, and Middletown North bringing up the rear in the division. So Rumson capturing that division title. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Rumson heading into the playoffs with another crack perhaps at Somerville. Right now, though, we're at halftime, and the score is Red Bank Catholic 14, Rumson nothing, and more halftime activity in just a few moments here on News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Welcome back to the News 12 Varsity Game of the Week, brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And we're at halftime. The Rumson dance team, by the way, performing to Bon Jovi, which is appropriate since we're in Rumson.
This community understands how to rock out, you know?
Yeah, great song selection prior to the game as well. All right, let's check in with Amanda, who's standing by with a very special guest. Amanda?
Lou, it is a very special guest. Tracy Handerhan, the Rumson Fairhaven principal, sporting the purple. And what's the story with these pom-poms?
Well, these pom-poms are vintage. They're from the 80s. I'm an 80s girl, so I recognize them right away. And I found them in the building, probably a decade ago, and I bring them out for big games. So they're very special.
This one certainly is a big game. What was the vibe like in school all week long leading up to tonight?
Honestly, it was electric. It was electric. The enthusiasm was buzzing. It reminded us of the week before winter break, to be honest. It was a lot of energy and a lot of excitement tonight.
This clearly is the place to be on a Friday night. What is it about football that just brings this community together?
Well, Friday night under the lights, it's something magical. And it's Borden Stadium really just comes alive. And it's about community, and it's about celebrating families. On any given Friday night, we get generations and generations that come back to support their alma mater, and it's really such a special place. And it really is a place where we've had such a long-running rivalry, with a very healthy one with RBC for such a long time, and we're friends, and we work beautifully together, and our kids maintain a healthy rivalry, great sportsmanship, and we just get together and have a lot of fun.
I have been told by both coaches that this game is so special that players come back. This is the game all year that every former player wants to come back. So for you as the principal to see that, what does that mean?
Oh, it's a place of tradition, and it just, you know, it's special because it's funny, for games like this, I see varsity jackets from the 1970s come out, and it puts a smile on all of our face. We see 3-year-olds running around in bulldog apparel, and it's to say it's a place to be is really an understatement. It's a wonderful place, really, to go to high school and to just be a part of the community.
Well, Tracy, thank you so much. We're going to enjoy the band now. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Take care, and thank you so much. Go Dogs!
All right, Lou, back to you guys.
All right, Amanda. And on the field right now is the Rumson Fairhaven Bulldog Marching Band. And how about we have a listen to this outstanding band? Rumson Fairhaven Bulldog Marching Band here at halftime, performing in front of this huge crowd on this Friday night at Borden Stadium. Rumson trailing Red Bank Catholic 14-0. One of the News 12 varsity game of the week. Lou Brogner along with David Resnick, Amanda Puglisi, our entire News 12 varsity team. Glad you could join us on this beautiful Friday night. Let's check in with Amanda on the sidelines.
Well, Lou, of course, we are live on Facebook Live. A lot of people at home are watching, and so am I. And I'm keeping up tabs on all of the comments. We have Peter Armstrong Jr. watching from NC. Go Casey's, RBC class of 65. And how about Joe Burke? He's married to a Casey, so of course he has to say go Casey's. And Lisa Preston, let's go Bulldogs. So guys, keep those comments coming.
And you can see a lot of excitement in the crowd here at Rumson as well, as the Bulldog fans
It's a long-time rivalry, Lou, and we talked about it from the very beginning, how Red Bank Catholic and Rumson Fairhaven were former Thanksgiving rivals. There's a lot of mixing going on there between the hat and the blazer. Anyway, most played short conference series in Rumson, Red Bank Catholic, 61st meeting tonight. Top 4 in this area and in this conference dating back to 1947. It was a tie. No points were scored, 0-0. Red Bank Catholic leads the all-time series 33-21. There have been 6 ties, including that inaugural matchup. Do you think that T-shirt shooter can reach all the way up to us in the box?
I'll tell you, that was one impressive outfit.
Matching even. Thankfully, we have some windows here, or else we'd have to watch our eyes.
The question is, can he reach up to the press box? I think he just shot it into the next room here in the press box.
Red Bank Catholic has won 11 straight in this series, the last meeting back on Thanksgiving 2013. And 20 of 23, looking good to extend that winning streak in this renewed rivalry.
There's a look at the Casey's of Red Bank Catholic in non-public Group 3. That's where their playoffs will take place. And right now, they have the #1 spot as far as power points are concerned, with the Spartans of DePaul right there with 17 power points. Mater Dei would be in 3rd if the season ended today. And then Donovan Catholic would get the 4th seed, followed by St. John Vianney. But certainly the top 3 teams are the teams to watch in this particular bracket: RBC, DePaul, and Mater Dei.
And the crowd has certainly thinned just a little bit as SJR has moved up to non-public Group 4.
There's a look at Jerry Schulte, head coach of Rumson. And the Bulldogs heading to the playoffs. And we started to talk about it before. Rumson last year lost to Somerville in the Central Jersey Group 3 final by the score of 20-15. They had won 4 straight titles, the Bulldogs had, before the Pioneers knocked them off. And once again, Jeff Vanderbeek's Somerville Pioneers are off to a great start this year at 7-0. And I think a lot of people are expecting that to be a showdown for the final once again, although Red Bank and Camden Wilson might have something to say about it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a look at both a combined Central and South Group 3 look, because what will happen this year is that you'll have your traditional section champions, and for the first time there'll be bowl games where North 1 will play against North 2, South will play against Central, and so some of the PowerPoints looks are looking at that broader landscape of where the overall teams end up if you combine both the South and Central.
And of course, New Jersey taking that next step towards what eventually I would expect would be an overall state champion in groups. I mean, if you're going to play a bowl game between South and Central and then North 1 and North 2, eventually might as well play that one last game for the championship.
Changes in bureaucracies are gradual. So this is a good step in the right direction. The non-publics do play down all the way to one group or state champion in groups 2, 3, and 4. We'll see if the public schools can shade towards that type of model as our 30-plus minute halftime has just seconds left.
And tonight's News 12 Varsity Game of the Week brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And the crowd is ready now for the second half. You might remember back in the first half, Red Bank Catholic.
When was that?
Scored 14 points.
Was that earlier tonight?
They lead 14-0 heading into half number 2. A very strong first half of play for the Casey's. Very impressive performance.
You know, I did say this past week on the Football Fix that I do enjoy pageantry at football games. So while I do kid the performances, the acknowledgement of the senior members of the cheerleading and dance and bands and their parents that were recognized during halftime, we heard from the Rumson Fairhaven principal about this idea of community, and it certainly comes through with everybody in their purple, including head coach Jerry Schulte.
So Red Bank Catholic will get the football first in the second half. But before we tee up the ball for the second half kickoff, let's check in with Amanda.
Well, Lou, earlier we saw that Gordon Forsythe, he was out with that right knee injury. While I just spoke to the coaching staff, he will not return in the second half.
All right, Amanda, that's a tough blow to the Rumson defense. You might see that camera shot there shaking a little bit. That's the Rumson student body, by the way, jumping up and down on the bleachers here at Rumson.
Oh, I thought I was getting vertigo, so thank you.
They're pretty pumped up. They've been great the entire game here. It's a bouncing ball on the kickoff inside the 10, and a good kickoff return up across the 20 to the 22. So Red Bank Catholic will put it in play there. And their quarterback, Steve Lubashir, comes out at the controls for the Casey's. He had a terrific first half, living up to his advanced billing, headed to Boston College.
We're starting field position for Red Bank Catholic. First time that Rumson Fairhaven is kicked off to the Casey's. They had a field goal blocked at the end of the first half when they had the chance to add on points and make it a 3-score game. They begin the second half with possession and in control of this contest.
First and 10 for the Casey's. First play from scrimmage of the third quarter. And getting outside is Goodetti, and he picks up good yardage as he hits the corner.
Prior to the snap, Charlie Gordonier, the tight end, went in motion from right to left, and Billy Guidetti ran to the side that Gordonier vacated. So he ran to the weak side, to the field side, or excuse me, to the boundary, picking up a nice gain on first down. And the Casey's do such a nice job staying on schedule, getting chunk yardage to begin each of their first downs.
Pick up of 7, second down and 3 out of the eye. They run it this time. Huge hole up the middle and across the 40-yard line, and that's the fullback, Steve Shibalewski, his first carry of the game.
Missed all of last season, or nearly the entire year, with a broken ankle, was in line to be the starter. He's a nice change of pace, some brute force, just his 8th carry of the season, but productive when he does get the ball from the fullback spot.
A lot of old-time football in both of these offenses. Both offenses utilize tight ends. They utilize fullbacks. It's a first and 10 for the Casey's at the 43-yard line. Play action, and Lubashir, what a move! And then he takes it across the 50-yard line, takes a big hit, but picks up another Red Bank Catholic first down. Lubashir put on a spectacular move in the open field.
It's almost like he's working at a different speed in this designed rollout for Lubashir to keep it. He is so impressive in the open field. What footwork. That's against a strong safety, an athletic secondary member, in which Lubashir, a quick shimmy in the blow by.
First and 10, Casey's at the Rumson Fairhaven 45-yard line. Again, RBC comes up in the eye, and Gordonier goes in motion. And again, it's the fullback, Shibalewski, who takes it up across the 40-yard line. Well, Red Bank Catholic obviously has found something there with their fullback in between the tackles. It's the old adage, we'll run it until you can stop it. And Shibalewski picks up 6 yards on the carry.
3 different ball carriers already on this short drive that's developing for the Casey's. And what was interesting there is Gordonier had that same type of motion from the hash mark to the field side. The prior time that we saw that, they ran to the boundary. This time, first man through was the fullback right up the middle.
2nd and 4 from the 39-yard line. 9:35 remaining, third quarter. And back to throw, Lubashir being chased by Sullivan, and he got a good block to get free, then breaks into the open field. Makes another beautiful cut and takes it across the 25. Great run by Lubashir, but he was sprung with a great block in the backfield. And there is that block on Henry Sullivan issued by Tom Smith.
Shoulder to shoulder, clean hit. Lubashir, shifty, dynamic, elusive. I think those are ways to describe the methods in which Lubashir has gotten away from the defense. We haven't seen a blazing speed run so far, Lou, just his ability in tight spaces to stay away from the defense and pick up additional yardage.
First and 10 for the Casey's inside the 25-yard line. And the handoff this time goes up the middle. Not much this time as they tried Shibalewski again, but this time Rumson played it well.
They did, but it's still 2 yards. It's still a positive play. It still keeps the drive moving forward for the Casey's, who again on first down pick up positive yardage to continue the momentum as Von Factor checks into the game to the defensive line for the Bulldogs. It's a defense that's been on the field for a lot of the first half. They start on the field in the second half. Thankfully, they had a bit of a reprieve during halftime, but this defensive unit has got to be tired.
2nd down and 8. And a fumble, ball loose on the ground, still loose, picked up by Rumson. Down the sideline come the Bulldogs. They'll bring it up across the 50-yard line, and a big turnover as Rumson gets the big defensive play that they needed. Christian Lanzolato on the play for the Bulldogs. Lanzolato, a 3-year starter, as is Keegan Woods. Those 2 outstanding linebackers.
Ball was loose for a long time before it was scooped up by a purple jersey. Change of momentum play for the Bulldogs. It's just a 14-point game here in the third quarter, and one of their seniors comes up with a huge play.
Lanzolato picked up the ball. Von Factor was the man who got his hand in there to knock it away. And how about that run up the middle by Maldijan? Maldijan with a beautiful run, and he picks up big yardage on first down. 8 yards on that carry. It's 2nd and 2.
Best starting field position for Rumson Fairhaven by a mile as they start in opponent territory. The Casey's took advantage of short field in the first half. Can the Bulldogs do it here?
And Malgin again breaks into the secondary, cuts it back in, now gets outside, hits the corner, takes it inside the 5. A penalty flag is down as he steps out at the 1-yard line.
He sprinted 39 yards to the end zone, but will it hold up?
It looks like this will be against Rumson. From the spot of the foul. It is holding against the Bulldogs.
Well down the field, so Rumson Fairhaven will move the sticks and pick up a first down. Alex Malgin protecting the football. Ball security, his #1 priority as he maneuvered his way into the 3rd level of the Casey's defense.
Twin receivers go to the left side for the Bulldogs. And Malgin again gets the handoff, spins and twists his way down near the 15-yard line. And that senior offensive line doing a much better job at the point of attack here. Led by Buffalo-bound left guard Evan Davis, a senior. Tim Kelly, the center. Ryan McCann, Spencer Short, the tackles. Ethan Ardolino at guard. And the handoff again for Malgin. And he picks up a couple. So a big 3rd down upcoming now for Rumson. It'll be 3rd down in about 6. 6 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Red Bank Catholic with a 14-0 lead. Again, twin receivers go right side for the Bulldogs. And a fumbled snap. So an errant snap will drive Rumson way back to the 30-yard line. Coles falls on top of it, but that wipes out that drive.
Coles was ready for it. Maybe a little bit high. Ball was still loose, and that's why a couple of players jumping on top of Coles late is a legal play, because even though he was there at first and then secured it second, it was still somewhat of a live ball as Coles could not handle that shotgun snap. And remember, Malgin ended up in the end zone, but it was called back with a hold.
It's 4th down and about 19, and whistles blow the play dead. And this one will be against Red Bank Catholic, I believe.
It is encroachment against the front line of the Casey's.
So it brings up a 4th and 15. And the Bulldogs will go for it here. Too far for a field goal and too close to punt. And timeout called by the Casey's. So Red Bank Catholic wants to talk it over defensively on this 4th down play. 5:15 remaining here. Here in this 3rd quarter, Red Bank Catholic up 14-0. The Casey's 6-0 with title aspirations this year. The last time they won a championship was just 4 years ago in 2014. That was their first title since 1976 when they won that one.
They really earned that championship, taking down St. Joe's in the semifinals before a championship victory at MetLife against Del Barton.
But as we mentioned earlier, no St. Joe's this year in non-public Group 3 as the Green Knights have moved back up to non-public 4. So Red Bank Catholic has to be considered the favorite going in, although DePaul is certainly perhaps a co-favorite, if you will.
You saw earlier with the PowerPoint standings, they have that loss. Matter Day, a perfect 7-0, but their place as the second seed reflects their strength of schedule.
And Cole throwing for the end zone. It's intercepted. Picked off. For Red Bank Catholic, it is Anthony Romano. And that time, Colin Coles had really no shot. Watch the pressure here on Coles.
On fourth down, Coles unleashes it. Nice play by Romano. The interception actually gives up 5 yards of field position, as the touchback will bring it out at the 20. If Romano just slapped it down to the turf, this drive would have started at the 25.
The senior strong safety with the pick for Red Bank Catholic. And the Caseys will take over at the 20-yard line.
So as it stands, teams trading turnovers to start the third quarter. Rumson Fairhaven picked up the fumble, trying to take advantage of the sudden change in the short field position. Alex Malgian had a run that completed in the end zone, but it was a flag that called things back. And a player a bit slow to get up for RBC is back on his feet. Charlie Gordonier.
Rumson defense comes back out. Rumson has had a lot of success over the years. 5 championships. They've been to 9 finals, 17 playoff appearances for this program.
And all those titles coming since 2010.
One of the winningest programs in the Shore Conference over the last decade.
And all those titles coming with Jerry Schulte, either as the defensive coordinator, in which he started back in 2005, or as head coach now in his 3rd year.
Bishir keeps it himself, takes it maybe for a yard or so. No gain on that play. 2nd down and 10 for the Caseys.
Very few occurrences, Lou, where you've used the phrase no gain when it comes to the RBC offense.
You know, kind of an odd game in this respect. RBC certainly has dominated the game, but they only lead 14-0. So Rumson still very much in the contest. And a handoff goes off tackle. Good daddy hits the secondary and goes out of bounds across the 40-yard line. That time Billy Goodetti was able to get into the second part of that Rumson defense.
Yeah, outracing the free safety Ryan Ruane to the edge. We've seen the Caseys really look to establish the running game in this second half. That opening drive for them that resulted in the turnover, they got a number of different players involved with the rushing attack. The time of possession certainly, you would think, has worn down this Rumson Fairhaven defense, even though there's a number of bodies they use on the front line, and it's a 2-platoon system with their offense.
1st and 10 at the 42. Goodetti breaks the tackle, but not going to get away from the second man. That's Keegan Woods, who comes over to put him away.
Ryan Dupree slowed him down. Woods, as you mentioned, Lou, knocked him out. Woods, real leader of this defense. Inside linebacker, that veteran presence. It's a multi-year starter. And just the numbers are absurd. Better than 10 tackles per game entering tonight's contest. Well over 100 last year in a season in which Rumson Fairhaven played 12 games.
2nd down 10. At the 42. Lou Bashir over the middle, and Gordonier makes the catch. In stride, he takes it across the 35 and has a 1st down at the Rumson 31.
For all the talk of Kevin Bauman, and for good reason, a Notre Dame-bound commit as a junior, Charlie Gordonier has had a couple of impact catches for the Caseys today. This one on the pop pass over the middle to a streaking Gordonier, who entered with just 3 catches in 6 weeks. He's got a couple of big ones tonight.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Receivers go left side, and Rossback is wide to the right. Penalty flag thrown, and this will be a delay of game coming up against Red Bank Catholic. That'll push him back 5, back to the 36-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15. And a new quarterback in there. That's Ryan Edgerly. Not much on that play as he kept it himself.
You know, I didn't see it, Lou, but Lou Bashir must have lost his helmet on that last play, which would require him to sit one out, because the senior quarterback, there he is, 8 in white, is trotting back onto the field and into the huddle.
So Lou Bashir back out there. On a 2nd down and about 14. Lou Bashir back to throw. He is going long, floats it up, and it's incomplete. That ball kind of hung up there.
First throw today, Lou, where you'd have to say that he missed it or didn't put the right trajectory or velocity on it. It's a long throw. He's dropping back from the middle of the field and throwing an out to the sideline. But I thought you described it well. It kind of floated on him. Didn't have the type of zip that he needed to get it to where MJ Wright ended up on the sideline. Otherwise, he's been nearly perfect.
Well, big play here to keep the drive alive for the Caseys. 3rd and 14. And Lou Bashir fakes the handoff. Now he's going to take off and dives ahead, but he'll be well short of 1st down yardage. Christian Lanzolato in on the tackle for the Bulldogs. And it's a holding call. It's a penalty flag way back at the 41-yard line. And Jerry Schulte says, yeah, push him back.
They were in an interesting spot. Do you have 4th and short where you would expect the Caseys to go for it? Or do you give them 2 more downs to pick up the yardage? And this is going to set up a 3rd down and nearly 30.
The ball all the way back at the 50-yard line. Meters moving, 1:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And Red Bank Catholic has a 14-0 lead. No scoring here in quarter number 3.
And while a moment ago they were in most likely 4-down territory, if you don't pick up a significant amount of yardage, we might see the Caseys' first punt of the game.
Lou Bashir back to throw, and he's being pressured and goes down. So that time, Von Factor, the impressive sophomore defensive tackle, able to get in there and make the play.
Keegan Woods blitzed. Von Factor finishes off the play. Sullivan into the backfield, among others. Rumson Fairhaven just outnumbering the Caseys on the line of scrimmage. And Ryan O'Hara is on the field to punt it away for the first time today.
He steps into it, end-over-end kick. That bounces at the 30-yard line, takes a good Red Bank Catholic roll inside the 25 and down at the 23. And a reminder, tonight's game brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And also tonight, we are live on Facebook, and we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on the game and short conference football. And I'm sure Amanda will try to read some of them later on here in this second half. She already read a few earlier in the game. 1st and 10, and that throw is complete across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Jaden Key on the tackle. And it was Ian O'Connor. That's his first catch of the night. Senior tight end. O'Connor, a big target, has 17 catches on the year coming into the game. 4 touchdowns last year, had over 30. So we'll see if he's a factor in the upcoming fourth quarter. 3 quarters now in the books here in this big shore conference battle. And our score after 3, Red Bank Catholic 14, Rumson nothing on the News 12 Varsity Game of the Week. Back in Rumson, the Bulldogs trailing 14-0 to Red Bank Catholic in the 61st meeting between these two teams. A second down upcoming for the Bulldogs, 2nd down and 2 as the fourth quarter begins. They trail 14-0, handoff, and going wide is Malgin, and he picks up first down yardage for Rumson Fairhaven. Alex Malgin coming in, 76 carries, 889 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 3 last week alone against Lakewood. And he had big shoes to fill this year. Here's Coles, and he rifles it outside, incomplete. It brings up a 2nd down. We mentioned Malgin had big shoes to fill. Pete Lucas was the primary running back here last year. He set a school record 2,196 yards, 31 touchdowns in his career. Well, Malgin's done a nice job. 2nd down play. Cole fires outside, catch made. That's Patrick Jamin, and he takes it just shy of the 35, so 2 short pickups. And now Rumson Fairhaven with a 3rd down and 9.
Bulldogs playing with a bit more tempo as we've entered the final quarter, trailing by the 2 touchdowns and an offense outside of a drive in the 3rd quarter that's been sputtering.
First minute of play, quarter number 4. RBC up by 2 scores. And penalty flags fly. This will be a legal procedure against Rumson. That'll back the Bulldogs up 5.
Untimely flags really defining the Bulldogs offensively in the second half. If you remember, Alex Malgin had a run that completed in the end zone but was called back because of a hold well down the field. And then this flag on 3rd down is going to draw a timeout from the Bulldogs. Real crucial play in this game if you think about how many possessions may be left for the Bulldogs. The Caseys have played a great job, done a great job of holding on to the ball offensively. So as you start counting possessions and looking at the time and score, this is a crucial play for the Bulldogs.
Rumson's schedule, you see, they've been impressive. The big win over St. John Vianney and over Middletown North to start the season. Brook Memorial, Freehold Borough. Tough game against the Dragons of Brook Township, but they prevailed 13-0. Last week blew out Lakewood. And tonight, of course, RBC, Middletown South next week on the road. They'll take on the Eagles. So Rumson still very much in this game, however. They're down 14-0. It's still a lot of time, 11:03 remaining in the fourth quarter.
But it is getting late early when you consider that Red Bank Catholic has a pair of 5.5+ minute drives. So a conversion here is crucial.
On a third down play, Colin Coles going deep, and it is incomplete. Into a crowd intended for Matt Caldwell. There's two receivers in the same place. Jackson McCarthy also there.
Kevin Degnan, the primary cover guy there. You are allowed to face guard. Might have been a little bit of contact before the ball's arrival, but nothing called, and the Bulldogs forced to punt.
Coles to kick it away. Fair catch called for. Fumble, but then diving on top of the ball was M.J. Wright.
So here's the danger if you're the Bulldogs defensively. Red Bank Catholic again takes over with great starting field position, which has been a theme today for the Caseys. They have a running attack that has built up steam in the second half. You only have 10:45 left. If they have another one of those 3, 4, 5-minute scoring drives and they put points on the board, it's a 3-possession game with 7 minutes left, with 6 minutes left. Very crucial for the Bulldogs here defensively to force a 3-and-out.
1st and 10 for the Caseys at the 43. Hand off up the middle, and good yardage on 1st down. That's Guidetti. Billy Guidetti had a big hole on the right side of the offensive line and blasted through it. He picks up 6.
First half was defined by Steve Lubashir. His arm, his reads, his perfect throws to the end zone, and his ability to occasionally scramble. The second half, offensively for Red Bank Catholic, as they have it here for the 3rd time, is the running game. Similewski, Guidetti, Lubashir, the 3 of them have combined to really move the chains well.
Whistles and penalty flags fly.
Gordonier, right side of the line. A little bit of movement there. The tight end jumping, who has seen a lot of action as Bauman stands on the sidelines for RBC.
It pushes the ball back to the 44. 2nd down and 9 upcoming for the Caseys. Lubashir's got the play.
You know, they play an open offense. They're multiple. They have some spread. They run a ton of pro sets, but something you don't see a lot of these days. Lubashir's got to run over to the sideline for the play, and that takes time. That's why we haven't seen a ton of possessions both ways.
Guidetti, no chance as he's hemmed in behind the line of scrimmage, and the 2 active linebackers, penalty flag on the play as well, but Lanzalato and Woods all over that play for Rumson.
This is a huge flag. It came after the play. There's been some light chatter and some extracurriculars after the play, starting very early in this game, and that is a huge development right there, Lou.
Yeah, Billy Guidetti is down, being attended to. The junior running back, big part of this Red Bank Catholic offense. We're checking out Guidetti. Hopefully nothing serious for the Caseys here. So time stopped with 9:27 remaining in the 4th quarter. And Red Bank Catholic up 14-0. All 14 points for the Caseys scored in the 1st half. Remember, this is a Red Bank Catholic team that scores over 40 points per game.
There's a couple of touchdown passes by Steve Lubashir. One of them to M.J. Wright, the other to Sean Rossback. 10 yards and 13 yards respectively in the 1st half.
And Guidetti comes off the field. And you can see the teams coming in. Red Bank Catholic at 40.6 points per game, giving up just a shade over 8. And Rumson similar, almost 37 points a game, and the defense surrendering surrendering less than 6 points per contest. Well, this penalty, it's unsportsmanlike conduct against Red Bank Catholic. And that pushes the Caseys all the way back to the 27.
The outcome of the call was going to be huge regardless. And with this flag against RBC, Rumson in a great position to hold on this 3rd down, force a punt, and get the ball back.
That pushes Red Bank Catholic way back. They have to get to the Rumson 47 to pick up a 1st down. Hand off outside, short pickup to the 30-yard line. Not much there for Red Bank Catholic on the carry. John Columbia, that's his first carry of the game. Talk about Columbia defensively, the leader on that Red Bank Catholic defense. The time he gets a carry offensively. But on 4th down now, and RBC will look to punt it away. And now you've got a Rumson player down.
Keegan Woods.
Looks like Keegan Woods, yeah.
Significant pieces going down for both teams in the last couple of plays.
It might just be a cramp. Hopefully that's what
Still
it is.
into October. Cramps could strike at any time, right?
And it is a cool night tonight. Not crazy cold, but temperature in the 50s down here at the Jersey Shore.
Tonight is one of those cliche football nights. One of those nights that feels like football, the chill in the air, under the lights of those
Friday night lights, yeah, here down at Rumson. And tonight's game brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And as we have mentioned all night long, we're on Facebook Live tonight. And we'd certainly love to hear from you. So send us your thoughts on the game and short conference football in general.
I feel like a sandwich is in your future after all those reads.
Well, this is prime Jersey Mike's territory down here at the Shore Conference, where Jersey Mike's originated. Now Jersey Mike's all over the U.S. High kick, short, and it bounces out of bounds across the 50-yard line.
It's exactly what the Bulldogs needed. They forced a punt. They get the ball right around midfield. There is time left to operate. We saw them play with a little bit of tempo on the last drive. They have to keep the clock in mind as we've dipped inside of 9 minutes to go in regulation. But for an offense that has averaged better than 35 points, this is their chance.
1st and 10 in Red Bank Catholic territory at the 45. Colin Coles in the gun for Rumson. And he hands it off. Malgin keeping those legs churning. And he takes it down near the 41-yard line.
For a player averaging better than 11 yards a carry, Malgin has been bottled up. Really credit the front 7 for RBC.
Throw, caught, beautiful throw by Colin Coles as he laces that one into Ian O'Connor, his tight end.
You see a throw like that, and you see the potential for the junior. That was thrown on a rope. O'Connor, his favorite target, with Jaden Key draped all over him. You're going to have to trust your quarterback here to make some plays.
And Malgin again is twisting and works his way across the 25, down near a Rumson 1st down. They'll be about a yard short, I think. Almost 2, 2nd down and 8.
So they take a shot off of play action.
Excuse me, a gain of 8, 2nd and 2. And Malgin gets the carry again. This time he should have the 1st down. And he does inside the 21.
Instead, keeping it on the ground, move the chains, keep it going. You're getting momentum out of your run game, and so they keep it up there with the short gain.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 27. 1 yard line. Cole fires it, batted down at the line of scrimmage. Nice penetration. Gordonier got his hand on it to knock it down.
That is a rejection, Lou. That's a basketball play. Perfectly lining up that right hand with the pass attempt.
Junior linebacker Charlie Gordonier. We've seen him on the offensive side of the ball as well, make some big catches tonight.
Where is he going to end up? Because he has the specs for sure.
And then throw is nearly intercepted. Is it picked off? Yes, it is. Intercepted. And it was a big rush on Colin Coles, which forced the turnover. Jaden Key on the interception.
There's 3 parts of this defensive play. First, the pressure by Charlie Gordonier, then the deflection by Steve Cibulewski, and then coming in, Jaden Key alertly plucking it out of the air before the pigskin could hit the turf. Great defensive effort by all 3 levels of the RBC defense.
So a huge play defensively by the Caseys thwarts that Rumson drive. And now Red Bank Catholic takes over with 7.5 remaining in the fourth. Yeah, they have a 14-0 lead. RBC comes up in the eye. Twin receivers go to the left side. And the handoff. Not much there. Rumson really strings it out well. No chance to pick up any yardage that time. John Columbia again on the carry.
Defensively for the Bulldogs, it has been a different story in the second half. The way they've pursued the football, the way their defensive line has hung tough against the O-line of RBC. Second half possessions for RBC, fumble, punt, punt. Give a lot of credit to this Bulldogs defense, knowing that it had to stay steady and probably pitch a shutout in the second half to give their offense and their team a chance, and they've done just that.
Loss of about 3 on that last play. Second down and 13. And now penalty flag flies, and another delay of game against Red Bank Catholic. That pushes the ball all the way back inside the 10. They'll place it down at the 9-yard line.
Because of this field position that RBC is currently facing, Jerry Schulte's team is still in it.
Actually, the ball's at the 4-yard line. They have to get to the 22. So it's second down and 18. And Columbia again carries the football and picks up just a few. Remember, Billy Gudetti was banged up a little bit earlier on a play, and he has not been back in the lineup. Columbia back there at the tailback position. And a timeout is called with 6:23 remaining in the fourth quarter. And RBC up 14-0. Big play upcoming, a 3rd down. See Rumson's championship history. We mentioned earlier, this is a program, a proud program that's been to 17 playoff appearances, 9 times to the finals, and 5 sectional titles. And David, as you mentioned earlier, those sectional titles have all pretty much come within the last decade or so.
First one in 2010. Their last one in 2016, which completed their run of 4 straight. They were looking for their 5th in a row last year, fell in the championship game to Somerville. A win last year in the Central Jersey Group 3 Championship, and they would have joined Manasquan as the only teams from the Shore Conference to win 5 straight sectional titles.
3rd down upcoming. 3rd and 15. And again, they keep it on the ground, and Gudetti carries the football, but very little yardage. Now Red Bank Catholic's going to have to punt from their own end zone.
interesting decision by the Bulldogs to call timeout after second down. And if you're the Caseys, you're playing time and score, and you're playing a defense that's been really stellar. Caseys obviously have not allowed a point. They're about to face their toughest test as Volker stands at the RBC 43 awaiting this Ryan O'Hara punt.
And whistles blow the play dead. And it looks like another delay of game. And it is delay of game against Red Bank Catholic. So that'll back them up half the distance to the goal. And now O'Hara's got a punt from deep in his own end zone. He stands almost at the end line. Rumson should get great field position out of this exchange.
There's Drew Frankel, who blocked the field goal, but not a lot of pressure there on the punt attempt.
Volker from the 45, takes it up the gut. Volker at the 10, the 5, touchdown, Rumson. There's a penalty flag down. There's a flag down at the 25-yard line. And this may come back. A big play on the punt return by Volker, but it is a block in the back against the Bulldogs. So wipe the touchdown out.
That is the second time today that a penalty flag has wiped off a potential touchdown for Rumson Fairhaven in a two-score game. Not to say that the calls are incorrect, but just to say how close this game has been as the Bulldogs have been held out of the end zone to this point.
Red Bank Catholic player down at the goal line. Looks like number 5, Sean Rosbach. So the ball is back at the 35-yard line, and what appeared to be a Rumson touchdown taken off the board. That certainly would have changed the complexion of this game. But the Bulldogs still now down 14-0. Let's see if we can see that penalty. There it is. Top of the screen, you saw the block in the back.
And you have to ask yourself, does that block affect the play? Both from a standpoint of a Bulldog player perspective as they review, and both from a referee perspective. How much impact did that block have? The hold earlier on the run by Malgin, that probably was a bit more instrumental in springing him free because it came all the way down the field. You have to wonder if that particular exchange was necessary, but it was caught and called, and so this drive starts at the 35 instead of Colin Coles coming on to kick a PAT. He's in the pistol leading this offense for Rumson Fairhaven.
First and 10 at the 35. Sean Rosbach comes off the field with some help. He scored a touchdown earlier in this game. A touchdown reception. Here's a throw downfield, which is incomplete, nearly caught by Andrew Lawless. Colin Coles let it fly. Again, heavy pressure by Red Bank Catholic.
Kevin Degnan getting there at the same time, and he has every right to that football as a defensive player compared to Andrew Lawless, who might have felt that he was bumped into. But a loose ball and a jump ball, equal opportunity for offense and defense. And that looks like legal contact of a couple of players from opposite teams going for the football.
Second down 10 for the Bulldogs at the Red Bank Catholic 35. Handoff up the middle. It's Malgin, and he breaks it down across the 25-yard line. And that's very close to another first down, and it will be a first down for Rumson.
Touchdown saving tackle by Steve Shimilewski, the linebacker.
And again, it's Malgin who breaks a tackle and cuts it inside the 15, inside the 10-yard line.
You know, in some ways, because of the way that Rumson Fairhaven was limited in terms of the offensive plays that they ran, Malgin is fresh. For a guy that really carries the offense, he hasn't gotten a ton of carries today, and so he's running like a running back, not in the fourth quarter, but somebody who's energized early in the game.
First and goal from the 10-yard line. Malgin right up the middle and carries it inside the 5, and the Bulldogs now getting big chunks of yardage on every play.
They are, and running right into the heart of the RBC defense.
Malgin again, this time hit behind the line of scrimmage, but drives forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Rumson Fairhaven.
What a tough runner. What an answer by Rumson Fairhaven. Taking advantage of a short field, but also keeping their heads up after a call took a touchdown off the board. They made easy work of starting at the 35-yard line, and Alex Malgin, a powerful runner, a relentless runner. He was contacted behind the line of scrimmage, but would not go down.
Colin Cole's in for a big extra point. Penalty flag and illegal procedure, the call against the Bulldogs. That's going to back them up 5. That could be a factor here now on this extra point attempt. Still plenty of time left in this game. 4 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. But again, a big extra point attempt here for the Bulldogs. Good snap, kick on the way, and it is good. Would have been good from plenty. That one drilled through the uprights.
17th touchdown of the season for Alex Malgin. Coming into the game, he found the end zone every about 4.5 carries. Tough sledding today against a very talented RBC defense, but a huge score for the Bulldogs. And they put their defense back on the field, a unit that has not allowed a point since the 4:17 mark of the second quarter, pitching a second-half shutout.
4 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and we've got ourselves quite a game here in the Shore Conference. Red Bank Catholic 14, Rumson 7. And tonight's game brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And a reminder as well, we're on Facebook Live tonight, and we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on the game and the Shore Conference football. Still plenty of time. 4 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And this matchup has not disappointed. Pretty much what we thought. Rumson and Red Bank Catholic both coming into the game undefeated.
Red Bank Catholic is preparing as if they anticipate, or at least they want to be aware of, an onside kick.
And I'll tell you, Rumson is doing a lot of shifting and changing on the line as they line up for this kick. Almost makes you think Rumson is going to onside kick. And they do. And it's recovered by Red Bank Catholic. It did not go 10 yards. Also, it only got to the 48-yard line, and Gino Tardamella hopped on it quickly. Well, interesting call there by Rumson. There's still plenty of time, 4:35. Their defense has been playing outstanding football, But now Red Bank Catholic has the football at the Rumson 49.
It's an interesting call because the defense has been playing well, and part of your success has been playing the field position game. But I think in the back of the mind for Jerry Schulte, you know that RBC can hold on to the ball for 3-4 minutes, which would effectively end the game. And so maybe you take your chance there at the onside kick and just go for it there, play aggressively in special teams. But it's a tough call knowing how well this defense has played.
Guidetti on the carry. Joe Appolito, senior defensive tackle, on the tackle for the Bulldogs.
And you also only have one timeout left, so you can't use it on first and second down. You probably wouldn't use it here anyway with 4 minutes to go, but also if you get the ball back with the same score, you only have a timeout. That might also have led into Schulte's thinking.
Lou Bashir fires outside, catch made by M.J. Wright, and he's immediately brought down. Ball came loose, but it was whistled dead.
Head linesman right on the play, signaling immediately that the knee was down.
So it brings up a third down play.
There was strong conviction, but we're allowed to take another look. And up to snuff, it seems.
So third down. Big play here. Red Bank Catholic trying to keep possession. It's third down and about 6. Lou Bashir looking to throw. Fires long into traffic, and it is intercepted. Picked off by Ryan Ruane, who went up the ladder and gets the pick.
We saw one bad throw earlier, and this is really the first mistake by Lou Bashir, going for it all into double coverage. M.J. Wright, the intended target, with both Dupree and Ruane there. RBC had been really conservative on third down in the fourth quarter, this time taking a shot, allowing their senior quarterback to make the read and the play. But this sophomore, who is fired up coming off the field, has his third interception of the season.
Pretty play by Ruane, who went up the ladder and tapped it up to himself to make the grab. Beautiful play. And a huge hole up the middle. It's Malton at the 50. He's at the 40-yard line. One man to beat. He's at the 10. Touchdown, Rumson Fairhaven. 82-yard touchdown run. So Colin Coles is in. Rumson is 1 point away from tying the football game. Snap is low, kick is up, and it is no good. Might have been partially blocked. Red Bank Catholic hangs on to the lead. It's 14-13. What a turn of events.
After the touchdown, Rumson Fairhaven lining up for the PAT. Jaden Key, full extension. It was a low snap that might have set off the timing, and Jaden Key coming off of the edge. The second kick today we've seen that's been blocked. RBC had a field goal attempt at the end of the first quarter, knocked down. But the run, Malgin untouched through the defense, checking his surroundings as he's in a foot race against Kevin Degnan on the angle. Impressive 82-yard burst for Malgin, second touchdown of the game. but it's a 1-point difference because of the special teams play of Jaden Key, who came up huge on the extra point.
So again, Rumson lines up for an onside kick as the Bulldogs trail by 1 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Onside kick takes a big bounce. Ball is loose, still loose at the 50-yard line. And there's a big pileup. Let's see. Rumson comes out with the football, and they've recovered the onside kick, although the official is saying no, it's Red Bank Catholic ball. Now they change it back to Rumson.
Kevin Shields, as the pile was uncovering, stepped away to display the football. A dramatic turn of events. It's more than just offense and defense today. Special teams has played a huge factor. That's Keys who gets the initial touch, and now it's just a scrum for possession. And at the initial look, listen, the ball is to Rumson Fairhaven. Shields plucks it away. But if the official, I think, was on top of the play right away, the ball was covered and it looked like secured by RBC at the bottom, but Shields took it away.
1st and 10 Bulldogs. And Malgin gets the handoff. Nowhere to go this time. The initial hit made by Tom Smith of Red Bank Catholic.
Well, for a rivalry that dates back to 1947, a series that has not been played since Thanksgiving of 2013, a matchup of 1 and 2 in the short conference, living up to the billing.
Coles fires outside. It's incomplete. He intended for Patrick Jamin. So it brings up a 3rd and 10 at the 50-yard line.
Not the best game from start to finish, Lou, but if you think about what has happened in the 4th quarter in the last 3 or so minutes alone.
Coles trying to set up a screen. It's intercepted. Gino Tartamella anticipates and picks it off.
A touchdown, a missed extra point, an onside kick recovered, and now an interception. What action in the final minutes of play in this short conference showdown. Tremendous job by the defensive end to stay home and watch that screen pass into his hands.
So Red Bank Catholic takes over at the Rumson Fairhaven 45. 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. 14-13, Red Bank Catholic trying to remain undefeated. And the handoff comes outside to Guidetti. And he takes it out at the 40-yard line. That stops the clock with 2:05 remaining. Pick up a 4. At the 41, 2nd down and 6. Guidetti smashed behind the line of scrimmage. And a penalty flag flies as well. Keegan Woods exploding into the backfield.
I think that's going to be a call against RBC. Not only are they going to get pushed back, but this also stops the clock as Rumson Fairhaven only has 1 timeout left.
Officials talking it over. We're still awaiting the call here. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Red Bank Catholic and against Rumson. So it's double unsportsmanlike conducts, offsetting. As they say, no harm, no foul.
Except there was no harm in 2 fouls there.
At the 44-yard line. So 3rd down and 9 upcoming. Inside 2 minutes left. Red Bank Catholic clinging to a 1-point lead. Rubashiro hands it off. MJ Wright trying to turn the corner. He does, breaks the tackle, and flags fly at the end of the play.
Incredibly close to the sticks. Penalties again will play a big piece in this momentum-changing play. The effort by Wright, turning the corner after gaining the edge, eyeing the sticks, and fighting for every extra yard. And then the flags were thrown.
Here comes the officials' call.
It is against Red Bank Catholic, and the options are either 4th and 1 or 3rd and 12.
And Jerry Schulte says we'll take the penalty. Block in the back. And it will be 3rd down.
I mean, you have to keep the Casey's from picking up a fresh set of downs. And even though you're now allowing them to run an additional play on 3rd down, that's going to take up clock. On 4th and 1, that's almost a gimme, you would think, Lou, for Lubashir. And you pick up that 1st down, that would almost effectively end the game, even though Rumson Fairhaven still clinging to that 1 timeout.
3rd down and about 15. And now a timeout called by Red Bank Catholic. Frank Edgerly wants to talk it over. Very important play upcoming here on a 3rd and 15. A minute 37 left of the 4th quarter. Red Bank Catholic up 14-13 by virtue of he blocked extra point.
Last 3rd down, the Casey's went to the air, and Ryan Ruane came up with a huge interception for Rumson Fairhaven. Throwing the ball gives you the best chance to move the chains. Running the ball forces Rumson Fairhaven to take their last timeout. This is part of the outcomes and chess match that Frank Edgerly on the left and Jerry Schulte on the right are going through all of the different potential outcomes and combinations of this upcoming 3rd down and 14 play. I wish sometimes our headsets were keyed in on theirs.
And a handoff to Steve Shimalewski, the fullback who carries. So a very safe call that time by Red Bank Catholic, takes it down to the 45. So 4th down upcoming at the 45-yard line. Timeout called by Rumson Fairhaven with a minute and a half remaining. And this exciting game tonight brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And tonight's game also on Facebook Live. And we want to hear from you over the next minute and a half. Send us your thoughts on the game and short conference football as well. Send us your thoughts via Facebook Live.
You know, it's one of the cool things we learned. We could have assumed, but Amanda told us at halftime just how many former players, alums, community members, wherever they may be, not only locally or in the tri-state, but across the country and frankly the world, always checking out the alma mater, always interested in a big matchup in which Red Bank Catholic and Rumson Fairhaven have given us tonight.
How about the student body enthusiasm tonight by both schools. Really great school spirit from both schools tonight.
Encroachment there by Ryan Dupree. 4th and 10 becomes 4th and 5. Does RBC become at least a little bit intrigued? Probably not, although I'd imagine the offensive coordinator wants to go for it, and that's why you have a head coach.
Well, Ryan O'Hara will punt it away. Volker goes back deep. He's inside the 15-yard line. One thing for sure, this might be the longest high school football game of the season. A low snap, and Red Bank Catholic gets the kick away. The ball is loose. It's still loose. Recovered at the 31-yard line. Red Bank Catholic thinks they've got it, but Rumson has the football.
Oh, that play had
what
everything.
A bizarre play.
So the low snap, Ryan O'Hara collects. Just the fact that he got something off was impressive. But at this point, unless you have a clear lane to pick it up, Rumson Fairhaven should have vacated the premises. Once they touch it, it's a live ball and another mad scrum for the football. Oh my goodness.
So here's where we're at. 1:17 left. Rumson trails by 1 point.
And remember, 4 plays ago from Rumson Fairhaven, Alex Malgin went 82 yards for a touchdown. This is in his range.
Colin Cole straight back to throw. Has plenty of time, lets it fly, and it's incomplete. Intended for Jamin on the near sideline. Coverage by Kevin Degnan.
Without any timeouts, the only way the clock will stop completely is going out of bounds momentarily if you pick up a first down. This is an offense that has shown its ability to play with tempo and no huddle, but it's not most comfortable in this type of setting.
2nd down, 10. Throw over the middle, it's caught, but a short pickup at the 35-yard line, and the clock runs.
Malgin,
1 minute now.
Excuse me, Lou. Malgin with a terrific pickup there of Ambrose Richards coming off the edge. Saved his quarterback a big pop.
3rd down and about 6. Cole's back to throw, and it's knocked away at the line of scrimmage by Charlie Gordonier. What a game he's played.
Sure has. He's been a menace at linebacker. 2nd batted pass of this 2nd half. Throw in his receptions on offense, and that all adds up to 4th and ball game here in the Shore.
So here's the game. 4th down and 6. Rumson needs to pick up a first down to keep their hopes alive. Colin Cole sends twin receivers to the left side. And now timeout called by Red Bank Catholic, I believe. Yep, they're going to talk it over defensively here. And Coles comes over to talk to the Rumson coaches. 43.9 seconds remaining.
It's an interesting thought, because now you allow the Bulldogs to huddle with their coaching staff and come up with their best play on 4th and 7. But you can't take timeouts with you to week 8. Or week 7 for week 8, excuse me.
So RBC trying to hang on and win a huge game, remain undefeated, pick up some valuable power points as well against a terrific Rumson team. And Rumson trying to pull one out of the fire here. 4th down and 7. Here's the game. Coles looking to throw. He's in trouble. Lets it fly. It is caught! Patrick Jamin with a tremendous catch. First down for the Bulldogs at the 50-yard line. 36 seconds left. Coles looking to throw. He fires long, incomplete. Intended for Ian O'Connor. Stops the clock with 28.7 remaining.
Absolutely terrific adjustment by Jamin to come back for the football, present his hands for the catch, and then hang on as he crashes down to the turf.
Second down and 10. Football at the 50-yard line.
The incompletion is not good in the sense that, of course, you don't pick up any yards, but it does allow the Bulldogs to regroup.
Here's Coles rolling out, fires, and it is caught. That should be a first down. Stops the clock momentarily at the 38-yard line.
Jackson McCarthy with a terrific hands catch. A basketball player playing football for the first time. What an experience for that senior in this atmosphere.
And Coles clocks it with 19 seconds left.
Rumson Fairhaven and RBC renewing this rivalry, led by three-year head coaches, although for Red Bank Catholic, Ed Edgerly is 13 years overall. He had a decade stint earlier. He was a freshman and sophomore player at Wall before transferring to RBC. His assistant coach at that time, Jerry Schulte. They go way back, playing a classic tonight.
Second down, Coles looking to throw. He fires, it is caught over the middle, and that should be another first down. Andrew Lawless makes the catch. Clock stops momentarily as they move the chains. 11 seconds left, 11.3. And the clock will begin rolling when they set the chains. And Coles clocks it with 8.5. So you figure maybe one play into the end zone here.
You've got one, maybe two plays left. It'll all depend on the reaction time of the official in the booth keeping the time.
See, here's the problem for Rumson with no timeouts remaining. You might think, well, all they need is a field goal, but they don't have any timeouts. So they wouldn't be able to set up in time if it's caught in bounds. Here's Coles looking to throw. He fires sideline, incomplete. Clock stops. 2.4 remaining.
Coles 0 for 2 in field goals on the season. And remember, our differential is because a PAT was blocked by Jaden Key. Earlier it was fourth and ball game, and now we set up a play with 2.4 seconds left.
And they are going to try.
That will define the game.
To kick it. It would be a 42-yard field goal attempt by Colin Coles to win the game with 2.4 remaining.
Play clock has to be winding down.
Josh Harmon is the holder. Snap good. Kick is no good. And Red Bank Catholic hangs on and defeats Rumson Fairhaven 14-13. What a game.
What a fourth quarter. What an ending. A rivalry renewed that comes down to the final play. They go with the foot of Coles, not his arm, and a valiant attempt at a game-winning field goal comes up short.
Red Bank Catholic remains undefeated. They improve to 7-0, and Rumson Fairhaven loses for the first time here in 2018 as they drop to 6-1. And tonight's game brought to you by Jersey Mike Sub. Be a sub above. Tremendous game. Red Bank Catholic wins it 14-13. We'll talk more about the Casey's dramatic win in just a few moments. There are News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Red Bank Catholic hangs on, defeats Rumson Fairhaven 14-13. A tremendous game in the 61st meeting between these two programs, and another classic in this long-time series. The play of the game really is two plays here for Red Bank Catholic.
For RBC, it is now 12 straight victories over Rumson Fairhaven, but it was not easy. Jaden Key with a pair of tremendous plays. Here the interception, pressure from Gordon Ear, deflection from Similewski, and this play here by Key, the difference in today's contest. 14-13, just a 1-point game. Key with the extra point block late in the fourth quarter, the difference for RBC.
And Amanda Puglisi right now standing by with our News 12 varsity player of the game.
And of course, it's the quarterback, Steve Lubashir. Was this the craziest atmosphere you have ever been a part of?
For sure. All these fans coming out, I felt great. Just playing in an atmosphere like this, you don't really get to do that with high school football. So it was definitely fun.
It was a crazy final few minutes in this game. So what's going on in your mind?
At the end, I was just praying a lot and was hoping my defense would stop them, and we did.
You know, your defense, you want to talk about that, the resiliency of just this team. How could you kind of put that into words?
I mean, I was cramping up in the second half, so I couldn't really run. So the defense definitely had to step up, but we had a few issues on the D, but, you know, it all mattered for the last play, and they came up.
You know, this is such a great rivalry. So for you now to put your name in the history books and with a win, how does that feel?
We definitely needed this one going into Middletown North in the playoffs. So, I mean, we were rivals with them for a while now, so it definitely feels good beating them.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Amanda, terrific game for Steve Lubashir, the senior quarterback for Red Bank Catholic. His Casey's remain undefeated as they knock off Rumson Fairhaven by the score of 14-13. Huge win for Red Bank Catholic. And a reminder, tonight's game was brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And the game also on Facebook Live tonight. And we want to hear from you. Send us your thoughts on the game and Shore Conference football. That will do it here tonight from a jam-packed Rumson Fairhaven Borden Stadium. Another classic in this great rivalry between the Casey's and the Bulldogs. For David Resnick, Amanda Puglisi, and our entire News 12 varsity team, I'm Lou Brogno. Thanks for joining us. A reminder, next Saturday, join us for more high school football. And you can follow News 12 Varsity on Twitter and Facebook as well. Huge win tonight for Red Bank Catholic in one of the great rivalries here in the Shore Conference. The Casey's win it in dramatic fashion to remain undefeated. Your final score one more time. Red Bank Catholic 14, Rumson Fairhaven 13.